What's up, everybody? So glad to be back in the studio today, nice and early. I have Erin in the studio. Erin, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here.
Erin's back in the saddle. We used to do this all the time.
We used to do this a lot.
And we picked up right where we left off.
Absolutely.
So, we're doing amazing. Erin, what's the topic we're talking about right now?
Let's talk about, you know what? I'm going to put you on the spot. Tell me the do's and the don'ts of cooking.
This is a good topic because we highlight a lot of things. Do's and don'ts. We'll say our number one don't in this company-wide is...
I hope it's the same thing as me.
It's do not self-clean your oven.
Right.
Don't self-clean your oven.
Can you say it a little louder for the people in the back?
Yeah, everybody here. I got one even better. Don't self-clean your oven with the racks in other than a Miele or a GE.
or right before a holiday.
Or right before a holiday, because the racks... Listen, the racks will bend and tarnish, and the glide racks,
You'll
the
be
ball
really
bearings
unhappy.
will melt. So that quiche will never come out straight. But in the Miele wall ovens, they do have a glass-coated rack. So they do certain. Yeah, that is official.
Yeah.
Certain Miele's you can leave the racks in.
So there's your luxury brand.
Luxury brand,
What
and
about,
then the GE monogram. I feel like the all matte coated. Racks can stay in there as well. Everybody else with a shiny stainless steel rack that glides out of there, you better take that out because it will bend and tarnish.
So if since we are saying do not self-clean your oven, what can you do when you need to clean your oven?
So some of the alternatives in these ovens now. So and let's backtrack. A lot of these ovens have a hidden bake element on the bottom. Mm-hmm. So there's no exposed cow rod. So if you look in your oven and you see an exposed element on there, you're not going to want to scrub it out as hard as we're going to, because you're going to maybe hit that cow rod or bust the clips that hold it. So the smooth ovens on the inside now are a sealed system, so we could scrub that out. We could use like a mild Dawn. We could use a scrubby. We could use things like that and get in there. Like your Magic Eraser gets in there, and Magic Eraser, they with the melamine.
These really are magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. They do really well. So I'm a big proponent of taking all that stuff out, scrubbing your oven down and wiping it out. I feel like longevity-wise, the wall oven heats up for 3 and 5 hours at 500 to 700 degrees in a self-clean. I feel like that's I don't want to breathe that in. I don't want my kids to breathe that in. You know what I mean? I feel like that's working the unit too much. Whereas we could just put some old elbow grease in there and wipe it out and get on with our day. You know what I mean? I feel like it's safer. It's better. I'm still saying you could do it, but you know what I mean. So that's my huge
self-clean your oven.
I mean, you bought it, you can do it, but I recommend no. All right.
What's a do? What's something that you do recommend when cooking? With a wall oven, a range, a microwave.
Yeah. I like one of my do's is like when we're on induction, I do like to use the settings and the features. Like if I'm on the Thermador 36-inch, the Freedom Induction. The Freedom Induction gives you the freedom to put a pan or a pot anywhere. In the 30-inch, there's 42 magnetrons on the bottom. In the 36, there's 48. So you have a vast area. So, do use the features. Like the teppanyaki has a teppanyaki setting on the Freedom, so you could hold that teppanyaki button down and it gives you gradual cooking. Or if you're using a grill pan, it has zone cooking to give you a 5, 7, or a 9 zone.
So using the features, they're there for a reason.
Yeah, use the features, rely on, kind of, built-in recipes for your wall oven. Like if you were using the Jen Air Culinary Center.
It's such a nice feature.
Don't think, hey, I can just hit bake and
it's
start.
Foolproof.
And figure it out. Yeah, it's foolproof. It has, it'll have menu-driven options. Desserts, you can go to cookies, you can go to 3 trays of cookies. It'll tell you what racks to put them on.
And what tray to use.
100%, which tray to use too. So it really takes...
It's great for someone who's really just starting out cooking, maybe just bought their first house, just wants to cook but has never really had appliances to do so. There's a lot of really great appliances to kind of help them kickstart or get started.
Another one of my huge don'ts, and we're going to jump to the dishwasher. And a lot of these people, I see a lot of customers just take their soap tap, throw it in there, and throw the dishwasher. And I'm like, that's a huge don't. You got to put your soap in the desired spot. Like there's a little slide out cartridge or wherever it goes. Some of them have built it. Yeah, so it distributes evenly because you lose 75% of the soap if you just fire it in. Because what happens is in the dishwasher cycle, everybody's dishwasher does the same thing. You hit it close, hit your settings, hit start. The tub fills up. It does a once over, and those dishes get pre-rinsed. At a certain point, that tab, the little
been
trap
released.
door opens and releases and, and disperses soap out. So
Accordingly.
huge don't, just fire it in. I mean, I saw a guy just go like that. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm like, no. And huge don't. I do not use liquid soap in my.
Oh, neither do I. I use powder.
Use powder or use the finished tabs, because if you use that, I mean, think about it. You put it on the door, close that door. It's just gravity. It's all going to drip down. You're just wasting soap. So you know what I mean. I find that that's a huge don't. You know what I mean?
You know what's another do and don't that I want to talk about too?
Tell me.
Ventilation.
That's a huge one.
I feel like ventilation does not get enough love. And I always say, don't cook without your ventilation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Don't cook without
you
your
have
ventilation.
it for a reason.
And I always say, it's hard, but like after a while, get in the mode. I always tell them if you're gonna pan fry something, or you're gonna pan sear something, or cook some pasta, first thing you do, turn that vent on the lowest setting.
I turn it on when I get in the kitchen and I know I'm about to start cooking.
You're right. 3 to 5 minutes.
It's a little bit of a habit you have
5
to break.
Exactly.
But now it is so in my kind of element of my kitchen that I know, hey, I'm gonna start cooking. Vent goes on. And guess what? My house doesn't smell like bacon for 2 weeks.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Another do too is we talked about wall ovens, things like that, but we got to talk about convection. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And basically, what is convection? It is that fan.
What is convection, Chef?
Open your oven door. You see that big fan in the back of your oven. There's a single fan or a twin fan. That is convected air. That's your convection. That fan turns on, circulates air around the oven cavity, around your racks, around the food. This disperses that heat evenly, so everything on your tray is golden brown.
So you're telling me with cookies, I don't have to play the game of switcheroo.
No switcheroo in there.
I like that.
And then this, every time we open that oven, we lose 175, 200 degrees of heat. What's it do? It changes the cooking process, The oven has to go into a preheat. This is how people overcook things. They open the oven door, they check things too much. The ideal for every manufacturer is set the setting, set the temperature, set start. Oven's preheated up to temperature. You put your product in, close the door, let the oven do the work. Because we are not succeeding if we keep opening the oven door and it keeps losing heat. That's why it took my mother forever to make a turkey. Because they would open it, baste it. I love you, Marie, but you know what I mean? Like, you
Don't
open
talk
it.
back about Marie.
He's the best. But you open it, you baste it, things like that. You lose it 200 degrees. It took her all day to make a turkey, man. We're starving over here. You know what I mean? I can make it half the time. But
So you're telling me you can do your turkey quicker? Ooh, are you about to have
100%.
a convection off with your mom?
Love her to death, but you know what I mean? There's one chef in the family. But use your convection, know your convection settings. You know what I mean? So
what's one more quick don't that we can think about in cooking?
In cooking, I don't know.
Don't self-clean.
Don't watch the pot. You know what I mean? Don't watch.
Old, wives' tale.
That old adage.
Watch pot never boils.
I would say. Let's talk about the griddles real quick. So, those griddles, everybody, we have these 15-inch griddles. And I got 14 seconds, but wait till they're preheated. Let's rock and roll. We're out of here. Chef Anthony, go to our Don's Appliances site for all of us and go to all of our showrooms for all your needs.